A while back, I made a Hollow Knight lore video about the different ways that the forces of Soul and Void were similar and inherently connected. I realized that there's another force in the game's world that also has its connections with Soul, that being Dream Essence. In terms of game mechanics, both can be collected by the Knight and used for various functions, but plenty of lore connects the two as well. For one thing, both Soul and Essence can be collected by the Dream Nail. Using the Dream Nail on an enemy or boss gains the equivalent of 1 spell charge of Soul, which is increased to 2 charges if the Dream Wielder charm is equipped. Killing enemies using the nail, spell, or any other method also has a chance of randomly gaining 1 essence. Soul and Essence can also both be transformed into attacks. 3 of the Knight's spells are made up entirely of Soul, and most Warrior Dreams attacks are made of Essence, such as Elderhu's rings and the nails used by Zero, Gorb, and Markoth. Only Ghaleon ever uses a physical weapon, and even he creates additional scythes composed of essence. While the Dream Nail can collect both Soul and Essence, the entities that both can be collected from are Warrior Dreams and Dream Bosses. The Knight gains Soul from nail strikes just as they would with enemies fought in the physical world. This may seem odd since Soul is described as animating the bodies of living creatures. However, the reason these bosses give off Soul is likely the same reason they give off more than 1 essence when Dream Nailed, because they have a particularly sustained presence as a spirit. This is also why Warrior Dreams can be fought in the physical world rather than inside a dream, striking them with the nail can even do damage, and why contact with the spirit's form damages the Knight. Additionally, just as Warrior Dreams give off Soul when struck with the nail, tiny essence particles can also be seen flying off of them. That raises the question of why only enemies and bosses give off Soul when Dream Nailed and NPCs don't. I would say that it's because the Dream Nail is connected to the Knight in such a way that it knows what the Knight's intentions are. When the Knight is not engaged in combat, they have no reason to gather Soul for use in spells. This also explains why NPCs who can be fought as bosses, such as Hornet and the Dung Defender, only give off Soul when Dream Nailed during their fights and not outside of battle when the Knight is simply listening to them. Also, as evidenced by the experiments conducted by the Soul Sanctum, extracting Soul from still living creatures seems to be a pretty difficult process. Soul and Essence have their differences in addition to their similarities, of course. While Soul only appears to oppose Void, Essence most definitely opposes Void. Not only does one manifest as light and the other as darkness, but Essence represents hopes and dreams while Void embodies regrets. Of course, the Radiance is made of a light similar to Essence, and she refers to the Void as her ancient enemy. Like the Warrior Dreams, the Radiance also appears to have small bits of Essence flying off of her when she is struck with the nail, and like all Dream Bosses, she gives off Soul when hit despite not having a physical form. There also exist both beings who are composed entirely of Essence and those entirely composed of Void, some which produce Soul and some that don't. The Knight is special because throughout the game, they gain the ability to manipulate the forces of Soul, Essence, and Void. It's unknown if any other creature to ever exist in the game's world was able to do such a thing, even any higher beings, especially with 2 of those forces opposing one another as Essence and Void do. All 3 are equally necessary for the Knight to accomplish the task of saving Hallownest from the infection. Essence is not inherently part of the Knight like Soul and Void are, instead more closely related to their ultimate enemy, the Radiance, but is instead a way for the Knight to utilize the Radiance's own realm of power against her. By using the power of Essence to enter the Radiance's territory, the Knight can fight her directly, using the control that they also have over Void to vanquish the Radiance once and for all, everything made possible with the fact that the Knight was born imbued with the soul of 2 higher beings. What do you think of the relationship between Soul and Essence as well as the way Void plays into things? Is there anything about it that I didn't mention? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. I love talking about the lore of all my favorite media, so be sure to subscribe to keep up as I continue to do so. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.